We all know what we must do. But in the dark, the battle begins. Every single morning defines who we are.
How mentally strong people train their mind to obey them. The mind that ignores you. There is a strange tragedy happening in modern life. People can control companies, control employees, control entire meetings, but cannot control themselves for 10 minutes. A person can lead a business worth millions, yet lose an argument against a donut at PM. Human beings have reached the moon, but still cannot consistently wake up after the first alarm. That is terrifying, and honestly, a little embarrassing, because the greatest battle in life is not against other people. It is against the mind that keeps whispering, later, tomorrow, one more episode. You deserve a break. Start next week. And somehow, next week has been arriving for 7 years. Most people think mentally strong people are special. They imagine disciplined people wake up every morning smiling dramatically at the sunrise like motivational documentaries. No, sometimes disciplined people wake up tired too. Sometimes they want to quit too. Sometimes their brain also says, please remain in bed. Society can survive without your productivity today. The difference is simple. Mentally strong people train their mind to understand one thing. Feelings are welcome, but they are not in charge. And this changes everything. Because your mind is like a child. If you let it do whatever it wants, it becomes dangerous. Imagine giving a 10-year-old complete control over your finances, your diet, your sleep schedule, and your future. That is basically what many adults are doing emotionally. The mind says, eat nonsense, scroll endlessly, avoid difficult conversations, stay distracted, run from discomfort, and people obey immediately like loyal employees. Then later they say, I don't know why my life is not changing. Meanwhile, their brain has been running the country without qualifications. The truth is brutal. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest habits, not your strongest wishes. And mentally strong people understand something the average person ignores. Every time you break your own promise, your mind loses respect for your authority. If you repeatedly say, I'll wake up early, then fail, your brain quietly learns, this person does not mean what they say. That is dangerous, because eventually, your own mind stops taking you seriously. And this is where the discipline gap begins. The gap between who you are and who you could become. The gap between potential and action. The gap between dreaming and obeying. Because honestly, many people are not defeated by lack of intelligence. They are defeated by a disobedient mind. And today, we are going to talk about how mentally strong people train their mind to obey them. Not perfectly, not robotically, but powerful enough to transform their entire life. And trust me, once your mind learns your words carry authority, everything begins to change. Section 1. Your mind is addicted to comfort. Your mind loves comfort. Absolutely love it. Your brain treats discomfort like a personal attack. The moment things become difficult, your mind suddenly becomes a professional lawyer defending laziness. You say, I should exercise. Your mind replies, health is important, but so is rest. You say, I should save money. Your mind suddenly develops emotional attachment to online shopping. You say, I need discipline. Your brain responds, interesting concept. Let us revisit next year. The human mind is fascinating. It can convince you to destroy your future while making it sound reasonable. That is why mentally weak people constantly chase comfort. Comfort eating, comfort scrolling, comfort sleeping, comfort procrastinating, comfort excuses. But mentally strong people understand a painful truth. Comfort is expensive. Every unnecessary comfort today creates suffering tomorrow. The comfortable student suffers later. The comfortable employee suffers later. The comfortable spender suffers later. The comfortable procrastinator suffers later. And eventually life sends the invoice. That is why mentally strong people intentionally practice discomfort. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand something powerful. Discomfort is often the entrance to transformation. The gym is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Self-control is uncomfortable. Silence is uncomfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. Even honesty is uncomfortable. But every elegant life is built through uncomfortable decisions repeated consistently. Look carefully at successful people. Many of them mastered the ability to do things they did not feel like doing. That is the secret. Not motivation, not talent, not magic, obedience. And honestly, this is where many people lose the battle, because modern society worships feelings. If you don't feel like it, don't do it. But mentally strong people know feelings are unstable. Feelings change every few hours, sometimes every few minutes. One moment you feel motivated, the next moment you feel like becoming a blanket permanently. That is why discipline matters. Discipline says, I will act according to purpose, not mood. And that is powerful, because moods create chaos, but discipline creates identity. You become what you repeatedly obey. And unfortunately, many people obey distractions more than purpose. Imagine how dangerous that is. Some people touch their phone before touching their own goals. Their screen time knows them better than their future does. That is not freedom. That is digital kidnapping with Wi-Fi. Mentally strong people understand, if you cannot control small temptations, large responsibilities will crush you. That is why they train themselves daily. Not dramatically, quietly, consistently. Because the strongest minds are not built in motivation. They are built in repetition. Section 2. They stop negotiating with themselves. One of the biggest differences between mentally strong people and everyone else is this. They stop negotiating with weakness. Average people negotiate constantly. 5 more minutes, 1 more video. I'll start Monday. I deserve this. Today was stressful. I'm not in the mood. At this point, some people negotiate with themselves more than politicians negotiate international trade. And the problem is not the excuse itself. The problem is repetition. Because every repeated excuse becomes part of identity. Eventually the brain says, this is who we are now. That is terrifying. Mentally strong people understand something deeply important. Every time you obey laziness, you strengthen it. Every time you obey discipline, you strengthen that too. Whatever you feed grows. That includes excuses. Imagine a person trying to wake up early. The alarm rings. Immediately the brain becomes Shakespeare. Suddenly there is deep emotional reasoning. Sleep is essential. You worked hard yesterday. Balance matters. The body needs recovery. Meanwhile yesterday, this same person slept at AM watching videos titled Top 10 Billionaires Who Bought Weird Islands. Now suddenly they are scientists of wellness. The human mind is hilarious. But mentally strong people learn to interrupt this cycle. When it is time to move, they move. When it is time to work, they work. When it is time to stop, they stop. Not because they feel powerful every day, but because they understand something most people ignore. Action creates momentum. Waiting for perfect motivation is dangerous. Because motivation is emotional weather. Some days sunny, some days thunderstorms, some days complete confusion. If your life depends entirely on motivation, consistency becomes impossible. That is why mentally strong people rely more on systems than feelings. They create routines, wake-up times, exercise schedules, reading habits, focus hours. Not because life becomes easier, but because structure reduces negotiation. And honestly, many people are exhausted not because life is hard, but because they make too many unnecessary decisions. Should I work? Should I rest? Should I focus? Should I scroll? Should I exercise? Meanwhile, disciplined people have already decided long ago. That saves energy. And over time, the mind learns obedience through repetition. Not perfection, repetition. That is important. Because mentally strong people still fail sometimes. They still get distracted, still procrastinate occasionally. I still make mistakes. But they recover quickly. Weak minds turn one mistake into identity. Mentally strong minds treat mistakes like temporary traffic, not permanent residence. That changes everything. Section 3. They train the mind with small commands. Most people think mental strength begins with huge achievements. No, mental strength begins with tiny obedience. Small commands. Simple actions. Getting out of bed immediately. Making the bed. Finishing what you started. Keeping promises. Arriving on time. sitting quietly without touching the phone every 3 seconds. Tiny victories, but repeated consistently. That is how self-respect grows. Because your mind watches your behavior constantly. Every action sends a message. When you repeatedly quit, your brain learns weakness. When you repeatedly follow through, your brain learns discipline. This is why mentally strong people respect small habits. They understand something powerful. Tiny actions create identity faster than giant intentions. And honestly, many lives collapse from small, undisciplined behaviors. People think destruction always arrives dramatically. Sometimes it arrives quietly. One ignored habit, one repeated excuse, one lazy routine repeated for years. That is all. The scary part about life is this. Small behaviors compound. A little laziness daily becomes wasted years. A little discipline daily becomes transformation. That is why mentally strong people take small commitments seriously. If they say they will do something, they try their best to honor it. Because integrity with yourself matters. And sadly, many people trust strangers more than themselves. They believe in random internet opinions immediately, but cannot trust their own consistency. That damages confidence deeply, because confidence is not built only by compliments. Confidence grows when your actions repeatedly prove, I can rely on myself. That feeling changes a human being completely. You walk differently, think differently, speak differently, not arrogantly, calmly, because discipline creates internal stability. And mentally strong people protect that stability carefully. They know chaos is expensive. That is why many disciplined people appear peaceful. Not because life is easy, but because their mind stopped behaving like an uncontrolled marketplace. Section 4. They control their environment. Mentally strong people understand something many people ignore. Environment shapes behavior. If temptation surrounds you constantly, discipline becomes harder. Imagine trying to focus while your phone is screaming for attention every 12 seconds. Modern apps are designed like casinos. Bright colors, notifications, endless scrolling. Some people open their phone for 5 minutes and wake up emotionally 3 hours later watching cooking videos from another continent. The human mind is fragile around distraction. That is why mentally strong people reduce unnecessary temptation. They prepare wisely. They organize their environment. They remove distractions before distractions remove their future. This is elegance too. A disciplined environment creates a disciplined mind. Clean spaces, clear schedules, intentional habits. All these things matter. And honestly, many people say they want peace while surrounding themselves with noise. Noise online, noise emotionally, noise mentally. Then they wonder why focus disappears. Your environment trains your mind more than motivation speeches. That is why mentally strong people become protective of their energy. They avoid constant drama, avoid toxic conversations, avoid unnecessary chaos, because they understand attention is life. Whatever controls your attention controls your direction. And sadly, many people surrender their attention cheaply. One notification can destroy 30 minutes of focus. One emotional argument can ruin an entire day. One bad habit repeated long enough can redirect a whole future. That is why mentally strong people become intentional, not extreme, intentional. They ask, what kind of environment helps me become who I want to be? That question changes lives. Section 5. They master emotional control. Real mental strength is emotional control. Not pretending emotions do not exist, but refusing to become their servant. This is difficult because emotions are powerful. Anger, fear, jealousy, loneliness, stress, pride. These emotions can control decisions instantly if left unchecked. And honestly, many adults are emotionally controlled children with bills. One small insult ruins their entire day. One disagreement becomes emotional warfare. One inconvenience turns into a motivational collapse. Mentally strong people are different. They pause before reacting. They think before speaking. They calm themselves before making decisions. That is maturity. And this skill alone can save relationships, careers, finances, and peace of mind. Because emotional decisions are expensive, people destroy years of progress during moments of uncontrolled emotion. That is why mentally strong people train calmness. They breathe, reflect, observe, pause. Not because they are weak, because they are wise. A calm mind sees clearly. An emotional mind exaggerates everything. And honestly, social media has made emotional control even harder. People compare constantly. Someone buys a car. Suddenly, another person feels behind in life. Someone gets married. Now panic begins. Someone travels. Now insecurity arrives. Meanwhile, nobody knows the full reality behind what they are seeing. Comparison destroys peace quickly. Mentally strong people understand your journey cannot be compared fairly to another human being's timeline. That realization creates freedom, because peace begins when unnecessary comparison ends. And truly elegant people understand this deeply. They move quietly, grow steadily, improve privately. Not everything requires announcement. Some transformations happen best in silence. Section 6. They accept discomfort as the price of greatness. Every transformation costs something. Time, comfort, energy, discipline, patience. And mentally strong people accept this reality early. Weak minds constantly search for shortcuts. Fast success, easy money, instant transformation. But life rarely works that way. Most meaningful growth is painfully slow. That is frustrating. You work hard and results move slowly. You stay disciplined and progress feels invisible. You improve quietly and nobody notices. This is where many people quit, because they expected applause too early. But mentally strong people understand the early stages of transformation are often invisible. A seed underground looks unimpressive, but eventually growth appears. That is how discipline works. The gym feels pointless initially. Reading feels slow initially. Saving money feels small initially. But consistency compounds quietly. And one day, people call you naturally disciplined. Meanwhile, they never saw the internal battles. The mornings you forced yourself up. The temptations you resisted. The lonely moments. The difficult choices. Because elegant lives are usually built privately, not publicly. And honestly, this is important for modern people to hear. Not every season of your life will feel exciting. Some seasons are simply about building. Quietly, patiently, repeatedly, without applause. That is maturity. Become the leader of your own mind. At the end of the day, your mind is always learning from your behavior. Every excuse teaches weakness. Every disciplined action teaches strength. And eventually, your habits become your identity. That is why mentally strong people guard their daily behavior carefully. Because they know a human being does not suddenly become disciplined. They become disciplined decisions by decision, moment by moment, choice by choice. And honestly, this should encourage you. Because transformation does not require perfection. It requires repeated effort. Small victories matter. Tiny improvements matter. One disciplined morning matters. One completed task matters. One resisted distraction matters. One kept promises matters. That is how lives change, quietly. And the beautiful thing is this. When your mind finally learns your words carry authority, self-respect grows naturally. Confidence becomes calmer. Focus becomes easier. Life becomes clearer. Not perfect, but stronger. And perhaps the greatest freedom in life is this: to give yourself a command and know your mind will obey. Because a disciplined mind creates a powerful life, and a powerful life creates elegance. So train your mind carefully, before distractions train it for you, before excuses train it for you, before comfort trains it for you. Because if you do not manage your mind intentionally, something else will. And trust me, not everything deserves authority over your future. See you in my next video.